Good morning. Welcome to Fix It Finance. Long time. No, well, it's not long time. It's only a week ago. But welcome to Fix It Finance. Today we are talking about your year-end financial checklist, what you need to look at and why you need to look at it before the year runs out. So if you are new here, um, thank you for joining us today. My name is Fikayo Usman. I go live on Saturdays. Um, I just got back to work after maternity leave, so I haven't been consistent for like the last 2 months, but I've done it, I think, every 2 weeks as opposed to every week. But in the new year, we are going to be more consistent. So likely this will be the final one for this year, but we'll see what next week looks like. Just because, it gets a little intense around Christmas. Make sure you share this video, like, share, and subscribe. And if you have any questions or comments as we go, put it in the comments. I will be looking at the chat function both here and on Instagram, and we will take it from there. Thank you so much. So let us get right into it. What are some of those things we want to make sure we are looking at before the year runs out? So there are a few things, and if any one of them blesses you, helps you, make sure you tell someone to tell someone. Okay. All right. So the first one you want to look at for sure is you want to okay, there we go. You want to contribute to your FHSAs, RESPs, TFSAs. Okay. So you want to make sure you are contributing to those accounts that are, have December 31st year ends. Okay. So for example, with your RRSP, which is your retirement savings account, you can, put money up until February 28th usually, or March 1st, depending on how the calendar goes. But just usually think of it as the last day in February. Okay. So, but the rest of them, FHSA, TFSA, RESP, you have to put in funds before December 31st for you to qualify. So, for example, if you're a first time home buyer and you've never opened an account before, even if you're not sure, open the account. Okay. And create that contribution room. Put money in it if you can. Okay. Because I'm going to do this in another video, but just kind of talk about the strategy with FHSA if you are a first time home buyer. Because if you put in money this year, before December 31st, you build that contribution room for this year, then you can turn around and put another $8,000, for example, next year. And before you know it, you have $16,000 in that account that you can grow tax-free, okay? And if you put in the money this year, it's going to affect your taxes in the sense of it's going to reduce your taxable income for the current year. So it's a whole, if you qualify for the FHSA, make sure you open it, okay? If you don't qualify, don't open it because, of course, they're going to come back and get you. But yes, if you want to contribute to your children's RESPs, your children's TFSAs, especially if you want to, for example, the RESP, if you want to get the grant, make sure you contribute before December 31st, okay? And of course, your TFSA. You don't really lose contribution with TFSAs. It's just if you want it to count towards this year, you have to contribute before December 31st. Okay. Next thing you want to do before the year runs out, and these are in no particular order, one is not more important than the other, okay? This is just make sure you do all these things if you haven't done any of them. So the next one you want to do is to update or assign beneficiaries. Did you give birth to a child this year, or did one of your children become move from being a minor to an adult, for example? Any life changes that have happened, make sure you update your work. For example, if you change jobs and you have not yet put a beneficiary on, say, your life insurance and the like, make sure you put it. If you need to update your beneficiary, say, I don't know, you got divorced or, you switched partners, whatever that looks like, make sure you update those beneficiaries. The last thing you want, for example, is for you to have a current wife and it's your ex-wife that gets your life insurance, okay? I don't know why that's an example, but I've seen that one in real life. Okay. So make sure you update or assign beneficiaries. For example, if you have a TFSA, you've not yet put a successor holder. So if you are, for example, on my TFSA, my husband is a successor holder. What that means is, God forbid, anything were to happen to me, he automatically takes over ownership and vice versa. Okay. So you want to make sure, if you haven't already done so, put beneficiaries on those accounts, TFSAs, RSPs, RESPs, and well, you can't even open an RESP without assigning a beneficiary. But for the other accounts, you can open them without specifying who gets it. And the reason you want to do it is because God forbid, if anything were to happen to you, you want the people you love to be able to access those accounts right away. Okay. But if you don't specify what's going to happen, if anything were to happen, is they will not be able to get access. Okay. um the next thing you want to do is to review your insurance needs. Okay, and this one is very, very important because some of us are overpaying or underpaying, which is the worst part for insurance. If you're underpaying for insurance, you definitely want to do a review to make sure that you are up to date. So what do I mean by review your insurance needs? For example, if you moved closer to work, did you know that actually saves you money on your car insurance? If you moved closer to work, make sure you call them and update your address, okay? So that you know if it's going to save you or cost you money. If, for example, you moved further away from work and you did not tell them, that could also cause you problems if you go to make a claim, okay? So you want to make sure you have all those details up to date. If you had, for example, let's say you have on your home, you bought a home, but at the time you were setting up your insurance, you didn't have certain things in place, but now you've moved into the house, you're more comfortable, you now have a security camera, for example, or a security system. Make sure you call your insurance company to update those things. Did you change your roof? Call your insurance company to update those things because it affects your premiums to a large extent, especially if you live in Canada. um as much as possible, what you want to do is, if you do any upgrades or anything that changes the security or changes how people can access your cars, your home, you want to make sure you call insurance to let them know, so that it could potentially save you money on your premiums, especially now that insurance is going to go up come 2025. Okay. um the other thing you want to do, also in line with insurance, is to update the replacement values of the things that you own. So, for example, if you bought a car for, say, $10,000, right? A used car, chances are the prices of that used car may have gone up, or maybe it may have gone down, whatever that looks like. Call your insurance company to find out. Okay, the biggest one this actually applies to is your home. If, for example, you bought a house for $400,000, chances are the price of that house, or the replacement value of that house, has gone up. Meaning, if you want to rebuild that house today, it's going to cost you way more than $400,000. If your insurance is only covered for, say, 400,000, you're going to be in big trouble if anything were to happen to that home, because you will not have enough to be able to build it. Okay, so you want to call your insurance company and find out, okay, the replacement value of your home, what does it cover? What does it cover? For example, the type of insurance I have is a blanket one, whereby it's just an amount, $2 million. It covers anything and everything that has to do with the home. Meaning, if anything were to happen, they will replace it up to $2 million. Okay. Now, they're not going to build you a $2 million house if you had a $500,000 house. But my point is, if God forbid anything were to happen, I know for a fact until my house reaches 2 million or above, I'm covered. Okay. So you want to check with your home insurance provider that, okay, do they have enough coverage for you? Same thing with your content insurance. If you're a renter, for example, you might have said maybe in 2019 that, okay, the cost to replace everything in your house is only going to be 80,000. With inflation and everything, chances are it is no longer 80,000 that will be required to replace everything in your house. Maybe more like 150 now, or even if not more. Okay. So you want to make sure you call to update your renter's insurance as well. Yes, it might cost you $5 more per month, but at least you're well covered. Okay. Okay. The next thing you want to do before the year runs out is to update your net worth, your debt tracker, your investment, all the trackers. Okay. So if you've been keeping track of your debt, even if you started in August, okay, make sure you update it. Okay. One of the reasons you want to, like I've said on this channel a few times, we update our net worth every year. Sometimes I do it every month. Don't be like me, but that's just because I like keeping track. Okay. But one of the things you want to know is, okay, how am I progressing financially? If your net worth is minus 100,000 today, and you calculate minus 100,000 last year, and you calculate it's now minus 150,000, you're going in the wrong direction. Okay, so that's one of the reasons you want to keep track of it. And the only way to improve your net worth is to do one of two things: own more, have less debt. Okay, owner's equity. So you own more in that you have more assets. So homes, cars, whatever else, investments, and all that, and you don't have as much debt because your net worth is calculated what you own minus what you owe. So if you bought a house for 600,000, you own the 600, sure. But if you owe 540,000 on it, your net worth is actually 60,000, not 600,000. Okay, because if anything were to happen to you, they will sell off that house to pay off the lender. Okay, so you definitely want to update your net worth. You want to know what your net worth is, even if you've never done it before. Now is the perfect time to do it so that you can start 2025 with a goal, with an idea in mind. Okay, oh, my net worth is currently negative 68,000. At the end of 2025, I want that number to be zero, because zero is better than negative. Okay, and then you start building in the right direction. Okay. You want to update your debt trackers as well. So if you're someone that's trying to pay off debt, how much debt have you paid off? Let's say you started the year with $150,000 worth of debt. You still owe 148,000. You've only paid 2,000 in the whole year. It gives you a picture. Now, there's nothing wrong. There's no judgment, but at least facing the music, knowing the state of your finances, like we talk about here in Fixed Finance, that's always phase one. You want to know the state of your finances. So that's why you want to update all the trackers. Okay. Your investment tracker, same thing. If you're, for example, this year has been an amazing year when it comes to returns. By the way, this is just a caveat. Anybody that's using returns to advertise to you that, oh, this investment made 20%, 25%, blah 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 blah, don't let them bamboozle you. Everybody made money this year. Okay, everybody. Like, it was not because the person is special. So everybody made money. So don't let anybody use, oh, this investment is guaranteeing or is doing this type of return. It's just vibes. Everybody made money this year because everything was beautiful. So unless you invested in, like, ridiculous things, but for the most part, everything was up, 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 and up. Okay, so don't let anybody use returns to bamboozle you. But yes, make sure you update all those trackers so you know where you are. You know the state of your fund. It's always important to know the state of your finances, whether it's ugly, it's bad, it's good, it's fantastic. You always want to know the state. Okay. Okay. Still in line with well, not necessarily insurance. What you want to do before the year runs out, you want to shop around for better rates on your recurring expenses. What do I mean? Things like utilities. Okay, yeah, let's say you're currently with MMAX. Maybe Direct Energy has a better rate. You understand? Or you're currently with Fido, but Bell, or who are the other ones? Tell Us is offering a better rate. You understand? So things like your fixed expenses, end of year is a perfect time to, one, shop around for good rates because everybody has a deal. They're all trying to steal customers. Okay. Every year, December is when I usually go shop around for cell phones and cell phone deals, just because they are offering, they offer the moon and stars to be able to get you to lock it in. Okay. So that's a great time to shop around. Your utility rates, check it. Okay, what type of rates are you paying? Is it better to lock into a fixed rate, or are you still better with your variable rate? So you want to do research and find out those things. Okay, for example, we locked in some of our rates earlier in the year. I'm going to be checking it again this December to make sure for 2025 we're doing the right thing. Okay, because sometimes fixed is good, sometimes variable is the way to go. So you want to make sure you look at things like your insurance as well. Make sure you shop around for insurance. I've been with the same insurance company for a long time, but I keep them on their toes. I check around. I'm like, see, you people, you are costing me this. Your neighbor down the street is offering me that, and I'm a good customer. I know my worth as a customer. I pay my bills on time. I don't enter into accidents. To God be the glory. That one is not by my doing. You understand? But my point is, as a customer, they will be more than, and I pay my bills, upfront. So if same thing with your cell phone, especially if you're a good customer, it is a bargaining tool. Okay, make sure you keep track of things like that. If you're a good customer, you are premium products, so you want to shop around because they will be more than happy to steal you away from whoever you're with. And sometimes this is a key secret that I use. Always ask. For example, let's say you don't want to switch. For example, let's say the cell phone company I'm with, I really like it, and I'm not a huge fan of jumping around from Peter to Paul. What I do is I shop around, then I'll bring everything they're offering me to my current provider and say, see, people outside are toasting me. Oh, let me talk to your retention department. And a lot of times, 9 out of 10 times, they either match it or come dangerously close. Okay. For example, our mortgage is renewing first quarter next year. I've already started shopping around. I've asked my bank for quotes, and I'm currently looking around everywhere. I'm just gonna come back to the bank because I don't want to go through the stress of switching. I say, look, people outside are toasting me. What do you want to do? I know I'm a premium customer. I'm joking. But you know what I mean. If you're a good customer, you pay your bills on time, you keep track of your finances and whatnot. Make sure you shop around and compare rates. Bring it to if you want to stay with the company, that's fine. Sometimes they may not be able to match it all the way, but they will come dangerously close. If you're being offered for example, $60 plus a brand new phone over here, this one is offering you a $65 plus a brand new phone, you can get them to meet in the middle. Okay, I won't beat that horse further. Okay, the next thing you want to do as part of your checklist is to prepare for your taxes. Prepare for tax season. Okay, so one of the best ways you can do this, download an Excel spreadsheet of your bank account. From January to December, and then just go through and highlight all those transactions in Excel or on paper if you want to, all those transactions that pertain to taxes. Okay, all the transactions that pertain to you bought a subscription that's for your small business, or you paid for a service, whoever to your for whatever reason. Oh, by the way, if and I'm going to do a tax session sometime in the new year. If you are a business owner and you pay to get your taxes done, even if, for example, let's say you claim business expenses, you make sure to claim how much you paid to your tax preparer, whoever prepared your taxes, as part of your taxes for this year. Okay, so for example, you paid someone to do your tax earlier this year, keep that receipt, you can use it in your as part of your business expenses. But we'll do a tax seminar maybe January, so we can get ready together. Okay, um download the Excel of your bank account, your credit cards, and all that, and highlight all the transactions that pertain to taxes. For example, most credit card companies, you will only see 6 months worth of transactions. Just give them a call and ask for the first 6 months of the year and take it from there. The other thing you want to do is to create a folder. So I said this earlier in the year, I said it in the middle of the year, and I'm saying it again. Create a folder in your computer, on your desktop, in your phone, whatever. Anytime you do anything that pertains to taxes, just save the receipt in there. Save the receipt in there throughout the year. It saves you so much stress. By the time you get to the end of the year, you're not even worried about anything. Anything that has to do with taxes, just take a picture, save it in there. Take a picture, save it in there. And it saves you so much stress when you get to the end of the year, because your tax bill for your tax preparation is in direct proportion with how complicated it is. If your tax preparer has to figure out everything from head to toe, you will be charged. Okay, so just get ready. The next thing you want to do for the year end is to prepare January's budget. Okay, because no offense, some people overspend in December. Not some people, all of us. All of us overspend in December. There's just something about the month you try, but this particular December, I'm being very diligent. I'm watching everything like a hawk because I don't want to go over. Okay, but prepare January's budget and factor in a bit of a buffer to catch up with December's expenses. Okay, it just is what it is. If you're one of those people, you can plan your budget for the whole year, self, just to have an idea of where you want to end up. Okay, and kind of take it from there. But for sure, you definitely want to make sure you plan next month's budget and don't get carried away. Um, Another thing you want to do, and I have just two more, and then we will wrap it up. And your annual subscription review. So all those things you're paying annually for, Amazon Prime, Apple, whatever, Microsoft 365. And in our case, for example, Easy Worship for church. Review all those things you're paying annually, that you pay annually. For example, I'll give you an example. One of the things I do now personally, I don't pay annually anymore. I pay monthly first to see if I'm actually going to be consistent with it and use it. If I am, then I switch to annual. Okay. Because one of the things that happens is sometimes we're paying for these things, we just let them take the money. And because they've taken it just one time in the year, you don't feel it, you don't remember. So you want to look at all the things you've paid for annually. When you go through that bank account and credit card statement review, those things you've paid for on an annual basis, are you still using them? Do you still need them? Is it possible to share? Is it possible to just, pay for it one time? For example, let's say you have a particular software, you only use it a lot in the summer because that's when your business is busy, or that's when whatever it is you're doing is busy. Then pay month to month in the summer and cancel it, okay, as opposed to paying for the whole year. Of course, do the calculation to see which makes sense. But my point is, you want to review your annual subscriptions. Do you really need to pay for Hulu, Disney, Netflix, HBO, which other one? Paramount. Like, do you have to pay for everything? Especially if you have some goals that you're trying to achieve. Okay, now's the time to sit down and say, okay, of all these subscriptions that I own, which one still serves me, which one doesn't serve me anymore? Okay, and there's nothing wrong if you can afford it and you want to pay for everything, sure. But even if you can afford it, if you're not using it, it's still waste. Okay, so my biggest thing is you want to attack waste. It's not that there's anything wrong with having subscriptions. Anything that's wasting that you're not using, cancel it. Okay, cancel it. Then later, if you realize you need it, add it again. Okay. um Next one is you want to review your 2024 financial goals. Even if you didn't have any, you may have had some things in the back of your mind like, okay, I want to do this, I want to do that. Sit down and take stock and say, okay, what did I actually do? So let's say you wanted to pay off debt, okay? Sit down and look at it. What did I do towards paying off this debt? How far did I go? What did I actually achieve? A lot of times, self awareness is a superpower. I say it all the time. Self awareness is and will forever be a superpower. There is no judgment out there. No one is going to judge you if you paid more or you paid less. But what you want to do is to be like to thyself be true. There's nothing wrong with being like no one is faultless in the sense of we all have things we need to deal with, but you don't want to be false in the sense of you don't want to be false to yourself, right? In the sense of to thyself be true. It's always better to know the truth and face it than to be in denial. Being here at Fixie Finance, we don't do denial. We like facing everything head on. Okay, we want to know how it hurts, where it hurts, what's wrong. What even if you don't do anything to fix it, pun intended. We want to know because you must know the state of your finances. Okay. Um, Last but not least, so review your 2024 financial goals. It's not just debt. For example, let's say you wanted to start contributing to your children's RESP. Did you actually do it? If you didn't, then start in the new year. And I've said this a few times. A lot of times, what paralyzes us, and this happens to me too, I am very much in this boat. We want, like, for example, I wasn't going to go live today because I'm like, I did not post the flyer on time, and this, that, and the other thing. And then I'm like, you know what? I keep looking for perfection where progress is best. Okay, in the sense of you want to get to a point where, oh, I want to be contributing $500 a month to my children's RESP. Before you reach 500, start with five. Hmm? Just start with $5 consistently. $5. I'll tell you one thing that helped me, for example, this year. So, you know, due to the fact that and I'm just being honest here, I went through a few things like I've shared before in terms of just grief, and it really affected my prayer life. Okay. And someone that could go however many hours before, now to do just 1 hour, okay, how? You understand, was such a chore. Okay, it really affected my prayer life, and I knew I was under attack because when something affects your prayer life, everything is under attack. So me and the Holy Spirit, I told the Holy Spirit, and the Holy Spirit kept telling me, you're trying to overdo, even when it came to like exercise. Because when I went on maternity leave, obviously in mat leave, you sit around a lot, because one, you're healing, you're taking care of a child. And I just realized my muscles, everything was just so tight and tense. I'm like, Holy Spirit, what happened? I used to be able to lift weights and do all these things and blah blah blah. And the Holy Spirit is like, come, start with 5 minutes. Stop, because I want to go on the treadmill in 1 hour and I'll be dying by like 15 minutes. You understand? And the Holy Spirit is like, why are you trying to kill yourself? You guess. So start with 5 minutes. And it has really, really helped me in the sense of for prayer, I will literally set a timer or I will play a song, a worship song that I really like, that I know is like 5-6 minutes. I'll play it and I'll pray in tongues for 5-6 minutes intensely. You understand? Not intensely, but like pray consistent. And I did that every day. You understand? Every single day. And slowly but gradually, my prayer life has dramatically improved. In that 5-6 minutes, I can get things, downloaded that, even in 1 hour before I was not getting. And which is an act of God's mercy. But my point is, stop trying to do big things in the sense of you are trying to, oh, I must run 1 hour. Run 5 minutes. If all you can do is 5 minutes, it's okay. Do the 5 minutes. Stop waiting till you can save $1,000. Start with $1. Start with $10. Okay, don't do $1. That's just, please. But okay, sure. Start with $1. But $10. Start there. Put $10 consistently in your RSP, in your area, in your TFS, whatever you want to do. Start there, okay, and build from there. Don't despise the days of little beginnings. Oh, this is so annoying because my husband told me the same thing this morning because I was complaining about something else. But don't despise the days of little beginnings. Start with $5. Start with $10. Start with paying off $5 extra on that student loan. Okay, consistently. Then change it to 15. Then change it to 20. Then change it to 20. You understand? Don't underestimate the power of little. Okay, and from if you're out there, and I don't know, maybe this is for someone you're struggling with your prayer life or your fasting life or whatever. Start small. Okay, just walk 5 minutes, then pray 5 minutes. You understand? Then read your Bible 5 minutes. You've done 15 minutes of quality time that morning. Move on with your life, okay? And kind of take it from there. So, let's go into the very last one, which is set goals for 2025. I've kind of talked about it in this, but don't put yourself under pressure for, you want to, oh, you hear that one person is saving 1,000 a month, you are not going to do anything until you can save 1,000 a month. Leave them at their 1,000. You may get there, you may not get there, but start with 10, okay, and then move to 20, okay, and but do it consistently. um Set goals for 2025 and beyond. I say beyond in the sense of, I say this all the time. A lot of people overestimate what they can achieve in 1 year, but they underestimate what they can achieve in, say, 10 years. Okay. For example, there are some of you right now, you might be in the whole 100,000, in the sense of you're over $100,000 in debt and it seems impossible to get out of. Stop trying putting yourself under pressure to do it in 1 year. Okay. For example, set yourself a plan to pay it off in 3 years. That's a realistic goal. You understand? $100,000. Wait, how many months is in 3 years? 12, 40. You understand? 40. No? Okay, I can't do math right now. I'll be talking. But my point is, set a time frame of, say, 3 years. Set a plan to pay, say, $1,000, $500, whatever that looks like in a month. And before you know it, you would have made massive progress in that 3 years. But give yourself a time frame that's realistic. You don't have to squeeze it all into 1 year. Okay. Give yourself a time frame that's realistic. As I'm preaching to you, I'm preaching to myself. Okay. As I'm teaching you, I'm teaching myself too. So let's not get carried away and say, 2025 is the year I must pay off all my debts. Especially if you have $100,000 in debt and you make 100,000. It's possible. Nothing God can do. But my point is, don't um because when you set yourself up like that, you're almost setting yourself up to fail. So you want to be realistic. Okay. Realistic in the sense of, yes, we're going to add some faith to it, in the sense of, okay, I want to pay this off in 3 years. That's a good goal. You understand? I want to pay this off in 2 years. I want to pay it off in 18 months. I want to pay it off in 4 years. And then you set a plan, you put it in motion, you follow it. Okay. Thank you so much for joining today. I'm gonna wrap it up here. If you don't see me again this year, well, you still see me because I'll still post videos and shorts and all that. But we will continue our lives. I think I will do one more this year, and then we'll wrap it up for the year and start 2025 very strong. 2025, we're going to do things. We're going to be held accountable. I'm going to be setting up, like what do you call it, boot camps and whatnot, to really help people get a fast start on this thing. Because sometimes a lot of us, we've been hearing. Now is the time for action. Okay, so Fixing Finance will be helping you take action in the new year. All right, thank you so much for joining us. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. Tell somebody to watch this video because there were some really good gems shared. And we will see you again in the next video or in the new year. Have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your week. See you next time. Bye.